Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. On a Tuesday. Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters! What's up, everybody? I'm trying to make it to go to all chat. Come on. There. I did it. How's everybody doing today? Welcome in, welcome in. Make sure you do all the likey things for me. Hit the like button. Um, you know, that type of thing. Good morning, Joseph. Truth and Justice. Good morning, good morning. I was just eating my turkey sausage. Trying to make sure I don't have any in my teeth still, guys. Sorry. I need to hurry up and fix my phone stand, because this whole thing holding it and whatever, it's like, ooh, are you too close? Oof. So I wanted to talk about just everything, and I couldn't think of how to word it or how I wanted to talk about it, so I just was flipping through my pictures, and I saw a cute little meme, gif, whatever you want to call it, that I had saved a while ago. I'm like, whatever, we'll put it as this, who you gonna call? Good morning, Justice Jane, good to see you. Ghostbusters! It's crazy, the catchy stuff that sticks, like the commercials that you play in your head over and over, the little theme songs to certain movies or shows. It's fascinating how that works. It's like there's a certain rhythmic beat or sound that catches your liking, maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about today. I'm tired. I ended up not feeling good yesterday, and I did go to bed kind of late, now that I think about it. I was listening to Dolly, and then I was watching, I really like watching body cam footage lately from like police officers, their body cam footage. Just seeing people just completely wild out. It's hilarious to me. I don't know why. I guess maybe as being an EMT, I find it comforting because I've done it and I've seen it and it's fascinating. But I've been watching that a lot lately, so I fell asleep to that. Your sunglasses, thank you. A nice lady gave these to me at the meet and greet we had in Tennessee, and I've been praying for her. I believe her son passed away recently, but she was so sweet. She brought these for me, and Dolly got the Raptors, I think they're called. The really cool, like, slip into a Slim Jim glasses is what I called them. But I just can't imagine losing your child, and all of these people that have missing children. I mean, I was shocked to see the response of the chat from when Dolly was doing the stream where he was covering some of what Sebastian's been going with as far as his dad being live, and there were so many people that got so upset that he was discussing the case and not being accusatory towards Seth. Like, he was still telling Seth he was wrong and who he chose to surround himself with, which, this is why we have our separate shows. Clearly Seth is a grieving parent. Clearly Seth didn't spend as much time as Katie did. And so therefore, I wouldn't call him an absentee parent. I just would call him just not the primary parent. But he was not there when the child went missing. So therefore, no matter what you guys come up with as far as conspiracy theories, and he went and was gone for 2 hours somewhere, or he conspired with someone to possibly steal him somehow, like, it's just not, that's not, one day I think we need to go over Occam's razor. I think that's how you say that. That's basically the theory that is utilized to determine what the outcome of a case might be. Basically, the most easiest, most least likely to be a conspiracy theory type of story to explain is the one that's rational. Like with Karen Reed, there's not going to be 1,500 people that are keeping her secret, or that are keeping their secret in their involvement. There is not going to be twists and turns to the story. It's not going to sound like a Lifetime movie. It's going to be cut and dry. Like, she had an accident, accidentally hit his leg, and he fell, and he was incapacitated, and he died. Same thing with Jack and Lily, Sebastian, all of those cases. They all have a simple explanation. In my opinion, he needs to get away from at night. They're no help. Yeah, I mean, I believe he signed a contract with them, because if you know that business or them type of people, they're basically going to run their companies based on contractual work, and I believe he signed a contract with them. And so I don't necessarily feel like he can just walk away from them, but that's my opinion. I don't know for a fact. I don't know these people. I don't know the situation. I just know that in the past, what we've heard of at night is that they work based on contract, and therefore, I mean, who you're going to call to get out of that contract, you know? Like, do you need the Ghostbusters? So, those were all his choices, though. So it's like, at some point, you can't keep pacifying somebody who's made every wrong decision to everything up until date, and they still want to complain and whine and cry like it's their victim card. Well, had you done things a little bit differently, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I still feel bad for him, but I don't believe that he's any guilty party in this, even though he's not been cleared. That's another thing. He was the one that Seth Rogers was the one that was pushing everybody to look in the direction of, oh, you're a suspect. By begging people to clear him, he was the one that shined a light onto himself and made it we never really thought of him as a suspect. Me, Dolly, the people that I had chatted with about it. And then he made this big deal about, oh, I need to be cleared as a suspect. And I'm thinking, like, we never even thought of you as a suspect. You're the one that's making it a big deal. And so, like, what do you got to hide? Why are you know what I mean? And so, technically, he's not been cleared either. But I don't believe that he had much involvement with this kid, but that 2 days out of the month, or 2 days every other week, or whatever it is that he was spending. And therefore, it's least likely. Like, the probability of who's who and what and where, it just, and so most likely the person that's hurting you in a situation like that is going to be the person closest to you. And with Sebastian, of course, it was Katie. And then, of course, Chris he seemed to be battling with the boy. Like, based on Chris Proudfoot's own words, he seemed to be battling with the boy over, like, head of household status. It just seemed like a very weird, uncomfortable dynamic, to where Sebastian seemed to check him, and he doesn't seem to grasp that this boy is not somebody that you need to go bump chests with. You know what I mean? But that's just what I've gathered from his words. Right, power struggle. Some of the stuff that Chris has said out of his own mouth, like how he basically told Sebastian it was his house, and like, I mean, of course it's your house. Like, sit down, little man. I don't like that concept, but it's really what it feels like was occurring in this home. And so therefore it's more probable, due to Occam's razor and just simple freaking mathematical theory, that, something that occurred happened while he was at home with his primary parent, with the other step parent that didn't grasp that this child was going through some type of, I'm growing up, I want to feel like I'm the man of the house, or whatever it is that he was going through. But all that being said, we still don't have any kind of proof on that. So at what point do we just, I don't necessarily think that we should let it go, because the child is still missing. If we let it go, we don't talk about the kid, and his case gets pushed to the side and not necessarily forgotten. We're never going to forget, but it gets pushed to the side, and therefore, then what? I think we do need to keep discussing it. I think we do need to keep having little videos on it and whatnot, like just remind everybody, hey, Sebastian's still missing. But at some point, I don't feel like we could theorize anymore to where it becomes excessive and it just becomes like wild fairy tale. And, if the cops aren't going that direction, we as the public don't really necessarily have a right to even go in that direction. So, it's difficult, because here we are still wanting justice for this poor boy, and we're still wanting answers, and we're still wanting to find where he is. And yet it seems as though nothing is being done to go that route. And where do we go from here? Like, do we call the Ghostbusters? Do we call Scooby-Doo? Like, do we call the mayor of the area? Do we call... And I'm reminded every time that I think or discuss something like this of the mom to bot case, which it's going to happen here in Manassas, Virginia, soon. I think it's around September that his case starts. Her husband is going to be on trial for murder because, she just vanished, and he just, I don't know where she went. And of course, with Occam's razor and the most easiest solution or answer, he was the last one with her. He was the last one. He was the one that lived with her. He was the one that was clearly abusive to her. And so therefore, they found evidence to lead to that direction. It's like the kid never existed and parents don't care. Right. I know. They're just out here living. And I can't even imagine. The thought of just not having my child tomorrow, just, it's excruciating. Like, how are you not? And then, we always go to Brandy Vaughn, Michael's mama, and she's making herself so sick that she's going to need a liver transplant right away. And she's on a list. And she's, every time she has the ability to speak out somewhere or to go on a show, which she's been sick lately, so she hasn't done that. But it's just, you can see the difference. And I say this to Jimmy all the time. Actions. You can tell me all day long, good morning, Model Mom. You can tell me all day long you're going to do this, or you like this, or you have that, or, whatever you want to tell me. But if your actions don't align with what you're telling me, then you might as well be telling me a fairy tale story made up. You can't expect for people to just go about your word. I know people say, well, Katie and Chris searched on their own in private. They didn't feel the need to share it with everybody. They didn't. Okay, well, when Katie and Chris decided that they needed the public's help to get the word out that Sebastian is missing, they included the public. And so therefore, now the public is watching them because they have a missing child. So we're following it now because we're invested. We want to know where this child is. We want to know when he gets found. We want to know how he's going to be found. We have so many different things now we're keeping track of. And so for them to just say, oh, now we're just behind the scenes privately searching, it just ain't going to work. They invited us, exactly, amen, Taterbug, they did. And it's not necessarily all right, but as human nature allows, we respond as to what we see. Thank you, Justice Jane. Perfect. There's all the information. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, 16 years old. Perfect. Thank you so much for posting that. And so now we're expecting to see certain things, whether it's, sharing of flyers, making bracelets to remember that he's missing, like just any little tiny thing. Like, even if you want to search and do whatever you need to behind the scenes, great. I just want to know that you're on a podium. I mean, as a mother, I would be standing on top of my roof. I would probably be locked up right away because I literally would be frantic and standing on my roof. And I know people say everybody's different, everybody acts differently. I'm sorry. If you are a mother and your child, push one in the chat if you would not talk to anybody. Push one in the chat if you would not make an announcement every single day that your child is missing and your child was missing. Like, just, you're not going to see any ones, because these mamas here that we hang with, they're mama bears. They're going to be standing on their rooftop screaming at the top of their lungs, I can't find my baby, help me. It just is what it is. You can say that, everybody's different, but this is just like human nature. It's something you naturally do as a mother. It's instinct. It's a reflex. You literally just, and so to say, oh, they're not bad because, they're searching in private, and I'm sorry. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. Katie didn't scream from her rooftops. She didn't search. She didn't do just any of the things. She left her home to go be with her man. Exactly. When I lose my phone keys, I panic bad. When people aren't even showing that kind of... Right there, dude. Exactly. And to say, it's almost like offensive to say, oh, people just act differently when they lose something. No, they don't. They don't. Let's be real. They don't. Especially when it's their child. They don't. Period. Good morning, Claire. If you've got a missing child and you are a mother and you're not acting like you're grieving or showing concern on a daily basis or anytime you're seen out in public, I'm sorry. Yes, I understand you've got to live your life and go to the beach like Malaya or whatever, but while you're at the beach, at least freaking make some type of gesture or statement, or put a flyer up on a damn pole, or God, do something to make it seem to us as you're doing something productive to find your children. Period. That's it. I mean, like, if you don't, we're going to assume as the fucking public that you don't give a shit that your kid is missing. Call it what you will. I gotta run. I just saw what time it was and I almost panicked. See how that works? I almost panicked. I looked at the time. Holy shit, I gotta go. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for being here with me every morning. And I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Bye.